Jae-ho Kim straightened his tie for the 5th time. His hands shook slightly. Today marked humanity's first real seat at the Galactic Coalition's Grand Council. "Ready, Ambassador?" asked Hannah Lee. She held a small tablet, ready to record everything. "As ready as I'll ever be," Jae-ho said. The massive doors slid open. Jae-ho took a deep breath and walked into the council chamber. The room was huge, with a high ceiling that showed the stars above. 27 different alien species sat in a circle. They all turned to look at the humans. Jae-ho felt small. Earth had only joined the coalition 3 years ago. Humans were still new to space travel. Every other species in this room had been traveling between stars for hundreds or thousands of years. A tall blue alien with 4 arms stood up. "The Council recognizes Ambassador Jae-ho Kim of Earth." His voice boomed through the chamber. "Thank you, High Counselor Vex," said Jae-ho. He walked to the center of the room where a small platform rose from the floor. Jae-ho could feel their stares. Some looked curious. Others seemed bored. A few looked down at humans with clear dislike. He noticed the Terok delegation immediately. They were large reptilian aliens with scaled skin and sharp teeth. They whispered among themselves and kept looking at Jae-ho. Something about them made him uneasy. "Earth is honored to join this council," Jae-ho began. "We come with hopes for friendship and learning." As he spoke, Jae-ho saw how the other species reacted. They nodded politely, but he could tell they didn't take him seriously. To them, humans were just an interesting new pet species, not equals. The High Counselor interrupted. Yes. Welcome, Earth. We will now continue with our regular business." Jae-ho stepped down, feeling disappointed. He sat next to Hannah, who was typing notes quickly. "They see us as children," he whispered. Hannah nodded. "I counted 12 species that didn't even look at you, 4 that seemed hostile. The rest are just curious about the new kids." The meeting continued for hours. The council discussed trade routes, scientific missions, and border disputes. No one asked for Earth's opinion. Jae-ho watched the Terok delegation carefully. They kept sending messages on their devices, looking tense. Something wasn't right. Near the end of the meeting, Jae-ho's own device buzzed. The message made his blood run cold. "Mars Outpost Alpha has been attacked. Complete destruction. 142 human casualties. Unknown attackers." Jae-ho nearly dropped the device. Hannah saw his face change and leaned over. "What is it?" she asked. Before he could answer, the doors burst open. A human messenger rushed in, breaking all protocol. "Ambassador Kim. Emergency communication from Earth." The room went silent. All eyes turned to Jae-ho again, but differently this time. The High Counselor stood. "This is most irregular." Jae-ho stood up slowly. "I apologize, High Counselor. It seems I must cut short my first council meeting." His voice was steady now, with no hint of the nervousness from earlier. "The human outpost on Mars has been attacked and destroyed." Murmurs filled the room. Some aliens looked shocked, others confused. Jae-ho's eyes found the Terok delegation. They weren't surprised at all. "How unfortunate," said the Terok ambassador, Krell. His voice was smooth, but his eyes were cold. "Perhaps humans are not ready for the dangers of space." Jae-ho stared at Krell. In that moment he knew. The pieces fit together. "The Council will investigate this matter," the High Counselor said quickly. "But such things do happen in the frontier regions." Jae-ho nodded stiffly. "Of course." He turned to leave with Hannah and the messenger. As they walked out, Hannah whispered, "They don't care. They think we're nothing." Jae-ho's face hardened. They don't know humans very well then, and that's their mistake. Jae-ho paced back and forth in the small room that served as Earth's embassy. His face was pale. The images from Mars kept flashing in his mind. The outpost was now just broken metal and glass. All 142 people there were dead. "The attack lasted less than 5 minutes, Hannah said, reading from her tablet. "No survivors. No warning. Jaiho stopped pacing. And the council? They've started an investigation. But it's just for show. Hannah's voice was bitter. I heard 2 council members calling it a regrettable accident already. Jaiho slammed his fist on the table. An accident. The entire outpost was targeted precisely. The door slid open, and Sung Park walked in. He was Earth's military attaché, a quiet man with sharp eyes who had spent the last 3 years studying alien warfare. The evidence points to the Terok, Sung said without greeting. Their energy weapons leave a specific burn pattern. We found it all over the ruins. We need to bring this to the council, Jaiho said. Sung shook his head. Already tried. The Terok ambassador denied everything. Said it could have been pirates using stolen Terok technology. And the council believed that? Hannah asked. They want to believe it, Sung replied. No one wants to admit that a major power attacked a new species. It would force them to take action. Jaiho's device buzzed again. His hand shook as he read the new message. No, he whispered. Hannah moved to his side. What is it? Europa. Our research colony on Jupiter's moon. Jaiho looked up, his eyes hard. Another attack. 37 dead. The room fell silent. This was no accident. This was no mistake. This was a pattern. They're testing us, Sung said quietly. The Terok want to see how we respond. If we do nothing, they'll keep attacking, Jaiho finished. His device buzzed again. This time, it was a direct call from Earth. The president's face appeared on the screen, tired and angry. Mr. Ambassador, the president said, I've just finished an emergency meeting with Earth's Defense Council. Madam President, I'm so sorry about. We've reviewed all the evidence, she cut him off, and we've made a decision. Jaiho straightened his back. What are your orders? Humanity has tried to be peaceful. We've tried to fit in. But it's clear now that some species only understand strength. The president's voice was steel. You are authorized to take whatever action you deem necessary to protect Earth and its colonies. Jaiho's eyes widened. Are you sure? The Terok think we're weak because we're new to space. They think we'll beg the council for protection. The president leaned forward. Show them how wrong they are. After the call ended, Jaiho stood still for a long moment. What will you do? Hannah asked. Jaiho turned to Sung. You've studied the Terok. What don't they understand about humans? Sung thought for a moment. They don't understand our history, how we evolved through conflict, how war shaped us. He looked Jaiho in the eye. They've had peace for so long they've forgotten what a species born of war can do. Jaiho nodded slowly. Hannah, request an emergency session of the Grand Council for tomorrow. On what grounds? She asked. Tell them Earth wishes to address the attacks. Jaiho's voice changed, becoming harder. But don't tell them what we plan to say. The council won't do anything, Sung warned. I'm not asking them to do anything. Jaiho's eyes flashed with determination. I'm going to tell them what humans will do. Hannah looked at him with new understanding. You're going to. Jaiho nodded. It's time the galaxy learned that humans aren't to be taken lightly. As Hannah sent the request, Sung stepped closer to Jaiho. The Terok have better ships, better weapons, he said quietly. Yes, Jaiho agreed, but they've forgotten something important. What's that? Jaiho's smile was cold. How to fight a war. The Grand Council chamber was packed. News of the attacks on human outposts had spread quickly. Many were curious to see how the humans would react. Would they beg for help? Would they cry? Jaiho entered the chamber wearing a simple black suit. Hannah walked beside him, her face calm. Sung followed behind them, carrying a small device. The High Counselor called the meeting to order. We gather today to address the tragic incidents at the human colonies. Ambassador Kim has requested this emergency session. Krill, the Terok ambassador, smiled with sharp teeth. Perhaps the humans wish to request protection. We would be happy to offer our services. Several aliens laughed softly. The Terok were known for charging high prices for their protection. Ambassador Kim, you may speak, the High Counselor said. Jai-Ho walked to the center of the room. He looked different today. His back was straight. His eyes were hard. Even his voice had changed when he began to speak. Thank you, High Counselor. Jai-Ho looked around the room slowly. I stand before you not to ask for help, not to beg for protection. I come with a history lesson. Confused murmurs filled the room. Humans are new to space travel, but we are not new to conflict. Jai-Ho's voice grew stronger. While your species explored the stars, mine fought itself. Again and again. For thousands of years. The room grew quieter. War shaped us, changed us. On our planet, those who survived were those who fought better. Those who adapted. Those who never gave up. Sung activated his device. Suddenly, images filled the air above Jai-Ho. Scenes from human history. Ancient battles with swords and shields. Modern wars with tanks and planes. The room watched in growing silence. In just the last 100 years of our history, humans killed over 200 million of our own kind in wars. Jai-Ho let that number sink in. We became so good at killing that we had to stop ourselves. We had to learn peace the hard way. Krell shifted uncomfortably in his seat. Other aliens looked shocked. When we joined the coalition, we came in peace. We hoped to leave our violent past behind. But now, I see that was a mistake. Jai-Ho's eyes found Krell. Some only understand strength. What exactly are you saying, Ambassador? The High Counselor asked nervously. I am saying that the Terok Empire has attacked Earth colonies without provocation. They have killed our people. They believed we would do nothing. Jai-Ho stood straighter. They were wrong. The silence in the room deepened. No one moved. No one spoke. By the authority given to me by Earth's government, I officially declare war on the Terok Empire. The words hung in the air. For several seconds, no one reacted. Then chaos erupted. This is outrageous, shouted one council member. War. Official war. No species has declared war in over 600 years, cried another. The High Counselor banged his staff for order. Ambassador Kim, this is not how the coalition handles disputes. We have protocols, diplomatic channels. With respect, High Counselor, Jai-Ho cut in. Those channels have failed. 2 human outposts destroyed. 179 humans dead. And your response was to investigate. Krell stood up, his reptilian face twisted with anger and something new. Fear. You dare. Your primitive species cannot possibly stand against the Terok Empire. We will crush you. Jai-Ho smiled, but the smile didn't reach his eyes. You have better ships, better weapons, more numbers. But you have forgotten something important. Ambassador Krell. And what is that? Human. Krell spat the word. How to fight with everything you have. How to keep fighting when all seems lost. Jai-Ho's voice was quiet now, but everyone heard him. Humans remember. War is in our blood. The room fell completely silent. The war begins now, Jai-Ho said. May your gods help you. The council chamber exploded with noise. Aliens shouted, argued, and moved around in chaos. Some were angry. Others were scared. No one knew what to do. Jai-Ho stood calmly in the center, like a rock in a storm. Hannah moved closer to him, no longer pretending to be just an aide. Ambassador, we should leave now, she whispered. Security protocols are active. Jai-Ho nodded and turned to go. As they walked toward the exit, 3 small aliens blocked their path. They were from the Ven species, known for their bright eyes and quick minds. Ambassador Kim, said the lead Ven, we wish to speak with you, privately. Before Jai-Ho could answer, the High Counselor's voice boomed across the room. This meeting is not over. The Council must discuss sanctions against Earth for this barbaric action. Jai-Ho turned back. Sanctions will not stop what has begun, High Counselor. But if you wish to talk, we can meet in 1 hour. I have calls to make first. Without waiting for a response, Jeho left with Hana and Sung. The Ven followed them. Back in Earth's embassy, Jeho connected with Defense Secretary Jin Yoon. Jin's face appeared on the large screen, serious and ready. It's done, Jeho said. War has been declared. Jin nodded. Operation Silent Shield is now active. Our hidden fleet beyond Neptune is moving. Admiral Kang reports all systems ready. Jeho felt both relief and worry. Earth had been preparing in secret, building ships and weapons while pretending to be peaceful. Now those preparations would be tested. The Terok will attack Earth directly. Some warned. They'll want to end this quickly. Let them try, Jin said. Our orbital defenses are ready, and they don't know about our surprises yet. Hana, who had been quiet, stepped forward. Sir, it's time I revealed my true role. Jeho looked at her with interest. I'm not just your aide. I'm military intelligence, special division. Hana pulled out a small device. We've been watching the Terok for months. We have their fleet positions, their supply routes, their weak points. Jeho wasn't surprised. I suspected something like this. You noticed too much to be just an aide. A chime sounded. The Ven were waiting outside. Let them in, Jeho ordered. The 3 small aliens entered cautiously. What we say must remain secret, the lead Ven said. I am Taro. My people have suffered Terok attacks too. Small raids, resource theft. But we were too afraid to fight back. And now, Jeho asked. Now we see humans are not afraid. We wish to help you. Some looked suspicious. How? Information. Supply routes. Safe harbors for your ships. Taro's eyes gleamed. And we are not alone. 4 other species contacted us after your declaration. They also hate the Terok but feared to stand alone. Jeho thought quickly. A alliance. Yes, Taro agreed. Your courage has given others courage. Meanwhile, across the station, Krell raged in the Terok embassy. How dare they? A primitive species barely out of its gravity well. His aide approached nervously. Sir, our intelligence has been reviewing human history. There's something concerning. What? Krell snapped. Humans have fought more wars against themselves than most species have fought in total. They've developed tactics we've never considered. They think differently about combat. Krell laughed. They have primitive ships and basic weapons. What can they possibly do? That's just it, sir. The aide looked worried. We don't know. No one does. Their history shows they're unpredictable. Back in Earth's embassy, Jin's face reappeared on the screen. First reports coming in, Ambassador. The Terok are mobilizing their main fleet toward Earth. But Admiral Kang has launched our first strike already. Operation Thunderclap is underway. Jeho nodded. The Terok think they know what war is, but they've forgotten. We're about to remind them. Hana smiled grimly. They expect us to play by their rules. To be predictable. That's their first mistake, Jeho said. Humans don't play by anyone's rules but our own. Admiral Min Kang stood on the bridge of the Earth ship Defiance. Around him, crew members worked quickly at their stations. Through the main window, he could see his target. A Terok supply station floating in the darkness of space. All ships report ready, Admiral, said his second-in-command. Min nodded. Begin the attack. Remember, hit fast and disappear faster. 5 human ships appeared suddenly from behind a small moon. They had been hiding there for hours, waiting. The Terok had no idea they were coming. The ships fired together. Bright beams of energy hit the supply station. Parts of it exploded into space. Before the Terok could respond, the human ships vanished again, jumping to a different location. First strike successful, Min reported to Earth. No human casualties. Terok supply line is cut. Across the galaxy, similar attacks happened at the same time. Small, fast human ships appeared, attacked, and disappeared before the Terra could fight back. This was not how wars were fought in the galaxy. This was something new, something old, human. At the Coalition station, Jeho met with representatives from 5 alien species. Together, they signed a document creating the Alliance of Free Worlds. Each species had suffered from Terra bullying. Now they stood together with humans. This alliance changes everything, Taro said. The Terra can no longer pick us off one by one. Jeho looked at the group. They still have bigger ships and more weapons. But we have something they don't. What's that? Asked a tall, thin alien named Lyro. Creativity. Unpredictability. The willingness to try new tactics. Jeho smiled. And now, we have each other. Meanwhile, in Sung's lab, human and alien engineers worked together. They were taking apart Terra technology and rebuilding it in new ways. The Terra think their technology is far beyond ours, Sung explained to a group of Alliance members. But humans are good at taking things apart and improving them. He showed them a small device. This was a standard Terra shield generator. We've modified it to create a focused energy burst instead, one that can disable their ships without destroying them. The aliens looked impressed. Humans had been secretly studying and adapting alien technology for years. Across the station, in a dark corridor, 3 Terra assassins moved silently toward the human embassy. Emperor Grax had given them one mission: kill Jeho Kim. The human must die, Grax had ordered. Without their leader, they will fall apart. The assassins reached the embassy door. One of them used a special device to bypass the lock. The door slid open silently. They entered, weapons ready. But the room was empty. Looking for someone, a voice said behind them. They turned quickly. Hannah stood there, alone. The lead assassin laughed. 1 human female against 3 Terrak warriors. This will be easy. Hannah smiled. You really don't understand humans at all, do you? What happened next was so fast that later, when security reviewed the recordings, they had to slow them down to see it. Hannah moved like water, flowing around the assassin's attacks. She had trained in combat her whole life. The Terrak were strong, but they were slow and predictable. In less than a minute, all 3 assassins lay unconscious on the floor. Jeho stepped out from a hidden room. I see our guests have arrived. Hannah nodded. They'll make excellent prisoners and sources of information. Jeho's device buzzed. It was Admiral Min. Operation Thunderclap is complete, Ambassador. All targets hit. The Terrak supply network is in chaos. Jeho looked satisfied. And our losses? Minimal. 2 ships damaged. No deaths. When Jeho told the Alliance members the news, they were amazed. How is this possible? Lyro asked. The Terrak have the strongest fleet in the galaxy. They have the strongest ships, Jeho corrected. But they fight like they did centuries ago. In straight lines, with predictable moves. Sung joined them. Humans learned long ago that the stronger enemy can be defeated by the smarter one. The war has just begun, Jeho warned. The Terrak will adapt. They will get better. So will we, Hannah said firmly. That's what humans do best. 3 months passed. The war with the Terrak continued. Humans fought in ways the galaxy had never seen before. They attacked from hiding places. They used small, fast ships instead of big ones. They changed their plans quickly when needed. The Terrak were confused. They had better ships and weapons, but they couldn't catch the humans. It was like trying to catch smoke with your hands. Jeho met with the Alliance leaders every day. Today, he had important news. Our spies found something, he said, placing a data device on the table. Something that explains why the Terrak attacked us. Hannah activated the device. Images appeared in the air above the table. They showed planets with young civilizations, then the same planets, but empty, dead. What is this? Taro asked, his bright eyes wide. Evidence that the Terok have been eliminating developing species, Jai-Ho said quietly. Species that might one day compete with them. The room went silent. How many? Lyro finally asked. 17 in the last century, Hana answered. All made to look like natural disasters or accidents. And the Grand Council? Another Alliance member asked. Jai-Ho's face hardened. They knew, or at least suspected. But they did nothing. The Alliance members looked at each other in horror. The coalition they had trusted for protection had been allowing genocide. Meanwhile, Admiral Min Kang led a special mission. His ship, along with 3 others, jumped into Terok space near a secret facility. Intelligence from the captured assassins had revealed its location. Move fast, Min ordered. We have 20 minutes before their patrol returns. Soldiers in spacesuits left the ships and moved toward the facility. They cut through a wall and entered. Inside, they found laboratories filled with strange equipment. Sir, called one soldier, you need to see this. Min floated over to a large container. Inside was a glowing green liquid. A scientist in the team scanned it. Her face went pale. It's a biological weapon, she said, designed to target human DNA specifically. Min's blood went cold. Can you tell when it was made? The date stamp shows 3 years ago. The scientist looked up, right after humans joined the coalition. They were planning to kill us from the beginning, Min realized. The attacks on Mars and Europa were just tests. The team gathered all the data they could find and placed explosives around the facility. As they flew away, the facility exploded behind them. Back at the coalition station, Jai-Ho prepared to address the Grand Council again. This time, he had proof of what the Terok had been doing. They won't like this, Hana warned. I don't care, Jai-Ho replied. The truth needs to be heard. The council chamber was tense when Jai-Ho walked in. 3 months of war had changed how people saw humans. Some feared them now. Others respected them. Ambassador Kim, the High Counselor, said, You have requested this session to discuss peace terms. No, Jai-Ho said clearly. I am here to show you this. He activated a device similar to the one he had shown the Alliance. The same terrible images appeared. For decades, the Terok have been eliminating developing species, Jai-Ho announced. Species that might one day challenge them. And you knew. Shocked whispers filled the room. Some council members looked away in shame. That's not all, Jai-Ho continued. We found a Terok facility creating weapons designed to kill all humans. Weapons they started making the moment we joined the coalition. The High Counselor tried to speak, but Jai-Ho cut him off. The Terok saw us as a threat because we are different, because we think differently, because we have a history they don't understand. Jai-Ho looked around the room. They were right to fear us, not because we wanted war, but because we would never accept being eliminated quietly. The council erupted in argument. Some members shouted at others. Alliances that had lasted centuries began to break. Jai-Ho watched calmly. The coalition was fracturing. And from that fracture, something new might grow. Something better. This is just the beginning, Hana said quietly. Yes, Jai-Ho agreed. The galaxy is changing, and humans will help shape what comes next. The wars spread across the galaxy. More species joined the Alliance after learning the truth about the Terok. What began as Earth standing alone had become a movement for freedom. Jai-Ho looked out the window of his office at the ships coming and going. The Alliance now had a proper fleet. It wasn't as big as the Terok fleet, but it was growing every day. Hana entered the room. The new ships from the Ven are ready, and 3 more species have asked to join the Alliance. Jai-Ho nodded. Good, but the Terok still have more ships and better weapons. We need something to change the balance. That's why I'm here, said a new voice. They turned to see Captain Jun Quan standing in the doorway. He was young for a captain, but brilliant. Behind him stood Sung. We're ready to deploy the Defiance, Sung said with pride. Jai-Ho smiled. The Defiance was Earth's most advanced ship. For months, engineers had been adding special systems to it. Systems based on human and alien technology combined in new ways. When? Jai-Ho asked. Today, Jun answered. My crew is boarding now. Across the galaxy, in the Terok throne room, Emperor Grax was angry. He smashed a glass against the wall. How are these humans still fighting? He roared. It's been 4 months. They should be destroyed by now. His generals looked nervous. They don't fight like any species we've faced before, one general explained. They hit and run. They hide. They change their plans constantly. Enough excuses. Grax stood up from his throne. Prepare our main fleet. We will attack Earth directly. Once their homeworld burns, their spirit will break. The Terok gathered their largest fleet ever, 1,000 ships, all heading toward Earth. They moved slowly, confident in their power. Earth knew they were coming. Spy ships had been watching the Terok for weeks. They think this will be the final battle, Jin Yun told Jai-Ho over a secure channel. They're bringing everything they have. Then we'll be ready for them, Jai-Ho replied. How are our defenses? Better than the Terok expect, Jin smiled. We've been building in secret for years, and now we have alien technology too. When the Terok fleet arrived at Earth, they found a small group of ships waiting. The Terok commander laughed. Is this all? Earth sends a few dozen ships against our 1,000. He shook his head. Begin the attack. Crush them quickly. The Terok ships moved forward in perfect lines. This was how wars had been fought in the galaxy for thousands of years. Organized. Predictable. But as they approached, something strange happened. Hidden satellites around Earth activated. They created energy fields that slowed the Terok ships. What is happening? The Terok commander demanded. Then the human ships attacked. They didn't move in lines. Each ship seemed to follow its own plan, yet somehow they worked together perfectly. They darted between the slower Terok ships, firing weapons that disabled rather than destroyed. The Terok commander tried to give orders, but the humans had jammed their communications. In the middle of the battle, Captain Jun Quan sat calmly on the bridge of the Defiance. All systems ready? He asked. His crew nodded. Then let's make history. The Defiance suddenly disappeared from where it was. A moment later, it appeared inside the Terok command ship, right in the middle of it. This was supposed to be impossible. Ships couldn't jump so precisely. The risks were too great. But humans had always taken risks others wouldn't. Jum's voice came over all channels. Terok command ship, you have 10 minutes to surrender before we activate our self-destruct sequence. The Terok commander stared in shock at the human ship now sitting inside his own vessel. You would destroy yourselves? He asked. To save Earth? Yes. Jum's voice was calm. Humans have a long history of self-sacrifice. Do you? The Terok had no answer. Their culture was built on hierarchy and self-preservation. The idea of sacrificing yourself was alien to them. 9 minutes later, the Terok commander surrendered. As news spread through the Terok fleet, confusion followed. Without central command, ships began to act independently. Some continued fighting. Others retreated. The perfect Terok formation fell apart. The human fleet pressed their advantage. By the end of the day, the greatest Terok fleet in history had been defeated. Jai-Ho received the news with quiet satisfaction. The turning point, he said to Hana. She nodded. The beginning of the end. 6 months after Jai-Ho Kim had shocked the galaxy by declaring war, the Terok Empire asked for peace. Their great fleets were broken. Their supply lines were cut. Their allies had abandoned them. The Grand Council chamber was full again. This time, Jai-Ho didn't stand alone. Representatives from 12 species stood with him, all members of the Alliance of Free Worlds. The High Counselor looked tired. We are here to witness the peace agreement between the Terok Empire and the Alliance. Jaiho stepped forward. Across from him stood a new Terok representative. Emperor Grax had been removed by his own people after the defeat at Earth. The terms are simple, Jaiho said. The Terok will give up their weapons of mass destruction. They will pay for the damage they caused, and they will help rebuild what they destroyed. The Terok representative nodded slowly. He had no choice. His once mighty empire was now fighting just to survive. But this meeting is about more than peace with the Terok, Jaiho continued. He turned to face the entire council. This is about building a better galaxy. Murmurs filled the room. The old power balance was gone. Everyone knew it. For too long, this council has favored the strong over the weak, the old over the new. That ends today. Jaiho presented a new agreement, one that the Alliance had written together. Every species deserves a voice, regardless of how long they've been in space or how many ships they have, Jaiho explained. And every developing civilization deserves protection as they grow. The council members shifted uncomfortably. The changes would reduce their power. But they had seen what happened to the Terok. No one wanted to face human warfare. One by one, they signed the agreement. Later, in Earth's embassy, Jaiho's team celebrated quietly. I still can't believe it, Sung said, looking at the signed agreement. We've changed the way the galaxy works in just 6 months. We had help, Jaiho reminded him, nodding to their alien allies who were celebrating with them. Han approached with a datapad. The first mission for the new protection force is ready. We've identified 3 developing civilizations that need monitoring. This had been her project from the start. A special team to watch over young species, making sure no one interfered with their natural development. And the military training program, Jaiho asked Sung. Going well. 6 species have sent their best officers to learn human tactics. Sung smiled. They're quick learners. Good. Jaiho looked out at the stars. The galaxy needs to be ready if another empire like the Terok rises. The next day, the reformed coalition welcomed a new species for the first time under the new rules. They were small blue beings who had just developed faster than light travel. In the past, they would have been ignored or exploited. Now, they were greeted warmly, and their main guide was a human. Jaiho watched from his seat as the new species was welcomed. It felt right. This was what Earth had wanted from the beginning. Not war, but a fair place in the stars. Are you happy with how things turned out? Hannah asked quietly. Jaiho thought about it. I wish it hadn't taken a war, but yes, I'm happy with where we are now. It's strange, Sung added. Our darkest trait, our capacity for warfare, is what gave us our place here. Not just that, Jaiho corrected. It's what we fought for that mattered. Not conquest, not power, but the right of every species to exist and grow in their own way. As the ceremony ended, Jaiho received a message from Earth, a simple thank you from the president. Jaiho smiled. Humanity had found its place among the stars, not as conquerors, not as servants, but as protectors, as teachers, as the species that remembered what the others had forgotten. That sometimes you had to fight for peace.